This is Coogan Cassius for IFL TV. We're inside Stonebridge ABC. With me, I've got from the Boxing News, John Dennen. How are you, John?
Pretty good, feeling good.
Pretty good. We're at the DeGALE workout here ahead of his fight on March the 1st in Bristol against GROVES if that's the way, if that's pronounced. Cat Chicken. And don't know a lot about him. We know he's 20-0, and I mean that's really just about how much I know about him. What do you know about him?
Not vastly more, really. I've seen his records. I think we were hoping to see. I mean, I was hoping to see the Badou Jack fight already.
Yeah.
But I guess this is a tune-up, for that. He's unbeaten. East DeGale's fighting, in the UK, so hopefully it would be a good show. But yeah, he's a bit of an unknown quantity coming into the fight. Cat Chicken is, that is.
Obviously, we know that Mick Hennessy's about to engage in a purse bid scenario with Badou Jack and the money team, Mayweather Promotions rather. So rather than just sit about waiting for that fight, it's good to get James out, I suppose, isn't it? Yeah, absolutely. It's great to see him in action on terrestrial TV, so showcasing him to a big audience. And I enjoy watching DeGale fight. Regardless, almost regardless of the opponent, as long as it's a decent guy, he'll give him a few rounds. We always go through phases in boxing where a specific weight is always much talked about. It seems to me now at the moment the super middleweight division, like I said, is going to be talked about for the next coming months with the announcement of the rematch between FROCH and GROVES. Obviously James on the verge of an eliminator for the world title, so that division domestically for the domestic fighters is getting there, isn't it? Yeah, no, it's massive. I think because the FROCH GROVES fight is so big, it's almost sucking all the oxygen of publicity towards that, which leaves DeGale a bit on the sidelines. But if he carries on, charting his own course, gets to his own world title, which he should be able to do, then he's suddenly back in the mix. And how great is it having this huge British rivalry between three great fighters? There's always been some talk that after DeGale and GROVES fought that James never got his rematch. It was a close fight, whichever way you look at it, and for whatever reason, through to maybe politics or just different routes the boxers were going down, the fight never happened. But this fight with FROCH and GROVES was, would you say now, obviously, would you say that was a bigger fight, the first fight, than DeGale and GROVES? FROCH GROVES? Yeah, definitely. I mean, the interesting thing about FROCH... Take the world titles aside, that it was for a world title, just the whole occasion as a whole, because DeGale GROVES was a big fight, wasn't it? Very much anticipated, but I suppose FROCH GROVES appealed to the outside boxing audience as well. I think FROCH GROVES really caught the imagination of the general public. I mean, DeGale GROVES, it was pay-per-view, but FROCH GROVES, because of it almost became bigger after the event, didn't it? Because there was so much to talk about, the controversy of the fight, because it was such an intense, high-level collision. Everyone was talking about it, and it became bigger after it happened, which doesn't often happen, and it's made the rematch even huger. Eddie Hearn's talking about crowds of up to 80,000. Is that a bit optimistic? I don't know. I'd have thought you could sell out a stadium with it. Who wouldn't want to see it? I think it's going to have huge interest. And it's the one thing, sometimes boxing can live in its own world without really breaking out into the mainstream, but FROCH GROVES is something, non-casual sports fans will be talking about. So I think, why not aim big? Would this fight have happened if George Groves hadn't forced himself back into a mandatory position? I don't know. I always thought that, the money alone, it's the biggest fight to be made. Why wouldn't you want it? To both sides of the negotiation, but it did seem particularly an acrimonious dispute. Neither GROVES or FROCH wanted to give everything up to the other, and we see in boxing so often, massive fights not happening that really should. In this case, I think the argument for earning a lot of money for everyone involved would have been strong enough to overrule whether he was mandatory or not, but it certainly helped. Carl FROCH has
you know, he doesn't want to lose his titles, does he? He's a proud man, so it certainly must have been a factor.
So you think the fight would have happened? Not that either fight was kind of, obviously George wanted it, but Carl was kind of backed into a corner where he felt or faced the possibility rather of losing his title.
But I'm not sure if Carl Froch is someone you can sort of force to do something he doesn't want to do. He's sort of, you know, he's very much his own man, isn't he? So I think it's more the case of, you know, the public wanting to see it. The public demand is what drove this fight to happen. George
Groves questioned on ringside last week whether these options that Eddie Hearn was talking about, potential fights with Golovkin and Chavez Jr. were even ever on the table. Do you believe they were? Or?
I believe they were, but I'd also be happy to believe that they explore other options to sort of enhance their own negotiating position. I think if you're Carl Froch, maybe you don't want to be told this is what you have to do, and if you're able to say I can do something else, it sort of boosts your negotiating position. But yeah, I suppose I wasn't on the inside of that, so I wouldn't know.
Yeah. Just finally, obviously, Box Nation show at the weekend at the Copper Box. Highlight of the night for me was Tyson Fury's fight with Joey Abel, and it turned into an entertaining, shall I say, clash, as long as it lasted. But what sort of opponent do you think Tyson should face in April before his potential showdown with Derek Chisora in the summer?
Yeah, I'm not really sure who'd be good. Someone who's a bit of a step up, who's going to give him some rounds. I think the interesting thing is more what kind of shape is Fury in. Is he a bit lighter? How's his fitness? They're not that, you know, when you look at sort of the top level heavyweights, you know, especially in the UK, there's not a lot else below them. So someone who's good, solid, durable, you know, ideally a pressure fighter like Chisora, who's going to sort of be the right warm-up for Fury is what you'd be looking at. But I mean, no names immediately spring to my mind.
Okay. I might chuck myself in the mix, John.
You know, you've got the girth. I don't know about your punching power, but
do you want to see it now?
Are we about to rumble? 'Cause I'm ready to go.
No. I'm just looking at you now. No, don't fancy it.
Well,
I don't fancy it, Dennen.
You know, I didn't mean to publicly challenge you, Coogan, but we can have a charity spar. How about that?
Charity spar?
Why not?
Well, I don't know. There's a few in line that probably want to punch my head in ahead of you. So, not saying you want to punch my head in, I'm just saying.
I don't.
Okay, glad we clarified that. Alright, well listen John, thanks for talking to IFL TV, and I'd like to get you on every now and again. I know you know your shit. Well, you know a lot more about boxing than I do.
I know, but I just
if you're at like a level 9 in boxing, shall we say, I'm like a level 4.
I'm not a level 9.
No?
No, I just listen to what other people say and repeat it back to you.
Okay.
That's the key.
Is that the key?
My job is just talking to other people.
Fine, thanks.
Fine, thank you.
It's great how people walk, like, that's James's mum, she can walk in and interview anytime she wants, so that's cool. Alright, thanks for talking to us, and we'll catch up with you soon.
Yeah, maybe edit out that bit where I said I didn't know what I was talking about. I'm not sure I want my employer to hear that part.
Alright, no problem, thank you very much.